All right, Nick, we're back with personal injury attorney Stewart Vance from the Vance Law Firm for our Ask the Attorney segment, answering your legal questions live on air. And we have a caller on the line, John from Montgomery. John, what's your question?
Yes, I was calling. I have a question. I was in an accident, and I lost my job behind the accident, and I was trying to see, do that make my payment increase, or how do I go about doing that?
John, that's a great question. I'm sorry you were in an accident. That's a question we get often, and Alabama is an employment at will state, which means you can be terminated for really no reason. And certainly if you're needing to miss work to get some medical treatment, you could be terminated for that, and we've seen that happen to people. So your question, answer is yes, some, because lost wages are certainly recoverable in your personal injury claim. However, if you lose your job, and then you're not missing any pay, you've been terminated, there's no recovery for that. So I tell clients all the time, if you're injured and you need to meet doctors or make doctor's appointments, they're both crazy important. You need to keep your job, but you still need to get the treatment. Most places are aware of that, most medical facilities, and they're going to work with you around your work schedule to get you the treatment you need. I also stress, please, please, please stay in contact with your supervisor, your boss, whoever that is, because you want them to know you've got this going on, and if they can work with you, they may or may not, depending on what the rules are at your place of employment, but at least they know what's going on. So if you were out because of the accident, that should be excusable. I don't know what the rules are, so I can get you lost wage for your claim. I can't get your job back. So that's a great question. Hope it helps you.
John, we're sorry you got into that accident. We have another caller on the line, Thomas from Montgomery. Thomas, what's your question?
Yes, I have a question. I was renting an apartment from apartment complex, and the water came down from off the ceiling, and I did a slip and fall in there and damaged my ankle and shoulder, and I'm trying to see what can I do about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were talking about earlier. You possibly could. There's some more questions that we'd want to follow up with you about, and we can do that after this segment. But yeah, if you're renting a place, part of what you pay for rent is to make sure the place you're living is inhabitable. And so if it's something that all of a sudden happened, there may be some claim you can make. If the leak's been happening, you've just kind of been overlooking it, or I'll get to that later, and you've known about it, you may have a harder time making a claim. So as often as I tell people, it depends. I got to get, we need more information. We need to know a little bit about what's been going on. So, yes, you could have a claim, but also there could be some hiccups to that if we find out more information. So this is the reason why I tell folks, please call and ask, because the sooner we can find out some details, the sooner you can know, yes, I do, I can move forward with it, or no, I don't think, one lawyer says I don't. We're not the only lawyers. You could get a second opinion, and that's often a good idea. But it's worth the first phone call, which you've done. I appreciate that. We'll get back to you after this, and hopefully we can find you a good answer, a good resolution to your ankle injury.
And we have another caller on the line, Jimmy. Jimmy, what's your question?
My question is that I had an accident a few years back, and come to find out that my the limitations statute had went out on it. But the lawyer that took the case, I've been trying to find it, but he moved his office. So I didn't want to know if anything could be done about that.
Gosh, that's a tough one. My first response is not likely, because you missed the statute. Now, because you had an attorney, it sounds like, that should not have let that statute go. That may be something you should certainly talk to that attorney about. If they closed the office and went out of business, some insurance coverage that they may have to protect from those kinds of things may come into play. So yeah, I would, if you can't find that attorney, reach out to the Alabama State Bar, and they probably, if he relocated, he or she is still practicing law, they're going to know about that. So they may be able to help you track that person down and ask those questions. But you hit on two very important things. Use a reputable attorney that's been around, not likely to, close down shop. The statute of limitations are so important, because as you're finding out, if nothing got filed, you're just kind of out of luck. There's nothing you can do, and you're just barred Like it's that black and white. If you miss the statute, there's nothing you can do about it. The insurance company doesn't have to pay you, even if there was plenty of coverage, the policy was in effect. If you miss that deadline, now you're out of business, can't do anything about it. So I hope you can find them. The state bar would be a good phone call to make to the here in Montgomery.
Is it common for people to hire an attorney to help find another attorney?
No,
have you seen that before?
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would
Need
do
to
that.
go that far?
I think there's easier ways. I think the state bar, because as a lawyer practicing in the state of Alabama, we have to register with the state bar, and we have to pay our fees, and we have to be licensed.
So
and
they
all.
should, even if that person's gone, they should have an idea of.
They should. They could be able to say, well, hey, they passed away, they were disbarred, they moved state, and now they're licensed in another state, because that has something they check on as well. So I would think anything dealing with trying to track a lawyer down, the state bar should help you. Yeah. So hopefully that's some good guidance and gets you going in the right direction.
Thank y'all for calling in today. If they weren't able to call in, or if they want to follow up with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's as easy as dialing 3 for me, 333-3333, or go to thevancelawfirm.com, or send your questions here to WSFA.com. We'll try to get to them if you send them in an email, or call again next Thursday, and we'll try to take them live on the air.
All right, Stewart, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.